Hello and welcome back to Premier League Predictions, the show which does what it says on the tin. We're here for the final game week of the 23-24 Premier League season. There's so much to decide. We still have just about a relegation match, though it looks very unlikely anything's going to change there. We've still, of course, got a title race, again just about, and the race for Europe. So much at stake this weekend and loads of games to predict. So let's get right into it, of course. Every game at the same time on the same day. Join us from 3:30 on Sunday for the final day live stream. The first game, though, we're going to start with is one that matters for the title. Arsenal versus Everton on TNT. Should be a really interesting one. Arsenal, it goes without saying, in the title race. They're 2 points behind Manchester City. They will, of course, have to rely on City dropping points. But Arsenal have been very good this season. And you never know in football. Maybe City will drop points to West Ham. Maybe miracles will happen. But Arsenal have got to do their job at least. They're playing an Everton side who have been quite good this season, to be fair. If you take away their points deduction, they'd only be, I believe, 6 points off Man United, which, when you consider they've been in the relegation fight for a lot of this season, that's very strong from Everton. So, Harry, how do you view this game going? Will Arsenal get that routine victory, or will Everton very much guarantee they won't win the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, this is going one way, isn't it? Everton have got nothing to play for. Arsenal, it's all on the line. They've got nothing to. You have to just go out there and give it absolute anything. Nothing to lose at this point in the season. With only 90 minutes left, I think they're going to win this pretty comfortably. I'll go 3-0. I think it'll be a Saka goal, an Odegaard goal, and a Trossard goal. And they will do their bit. Arsenal will do their bit, and it'll be all eyes on their phones to see what's happening at the Etihad. Yeah,
I completely agree. I think Arsenal will be keen, though, once they get those first couple of goals, to really open up the floodgates, because it could come down to goal difference. If Man City draw with West Ham and Arsenal beat Everton, then Arsenal will win the league on goal difference, I believe, provided they score enough goals. But I think they've already got an advantage in that regard. So Arsenal, I think they'll be keen to get a few, and I will say 5-0 Arsenal. Everton, again, they're already on the beach at this point. I know Dyche is a brilliant coach, and he'll still be shouting in that gravelly voice of his, but realistically, James Tarkowski's in Ibiza already. So I think they will be just off Arsenal today, and Arsenal win 5-0. I'll say a Bukayo Saka brace. I will go for a Kai Havertz goal. I will say a goal from Jorginho, because I feel like a rogue one in there, coming off the bench maybe. And I'll throw in a Gabriel Magalhaes goal as well for a 5-0 win for Arsenal. Up next, it's Brentford versus Newcastle. Brentford, very much nothing to play for at this stage of the season. They flirted with the prospect of relegation, but it's impossible now. And to be fair, it never seemed overwhelmingly likely. As for Newcastle, well, they should be sixth in the league, but that loss to Manchester United in the week has now left them 3 points off Chelsea, meaning Chelsea only need a draw in that game, and Newcastle will be condemned to 7th, which won't be European football if United win the FA Cup next Saturday. So I think Newcastle will be a bit frustrated by that, but they've still got a win here and hope Chelsea drop points. So will they do that, or will Brentford provide an upset?
Yeah, again, Brentford, they're on holiday now, and Newcastle, I mean, it was a very bizarre loss to United because they'd been in a really, really good run of form. I mean, yes, they were robbed. It was a Stonewall penalty on Anthony Gordon, and then that would have made it 2-2 at the point of the time. I think they'll be okay here, though. They're going to give it their all. They're going to do what they need to do to get to 6th position. I'll go for a 2-0 win to the away side. It'll be goals coming from Anthony Gordon and he's actually ill, isn't he? I don't know.
He played. He wasn't ill.
Oh wow.
It was the whole Eddie Howe's been doing these funny little mind games where he goes, everyone's ill, and then they turn up magically.
I'll go Isaac and Gordon then, and Newcastle will end the season on a high.
Yeah, fair enough. Newcastle had a good season considering how difficult it was at the start with all the injuries. I think they will win here, as you say. Brentford with nothing to play for. Newcastle will want to put pressure on Chelsea because there's always a chance Chelsea lose. But yeah, I think Newcastle, they're the much better side in this game, and they'll win, I'll say 1-0 only, and a goal from Dan Burn, the only fit defender that is usually a starter. I think he'll pop up with a goal here. Newcastle, I think they'll take 7th this season if it provides European football. I think if they don't get European football, there will be a lot of disappointment there because they need that revenue really for FFP, and they want to be playing on the European stage. And the Conference League, I would argue, is perfect for them. So it gives them a real good chance, or what should be a very likely possibility of them winning European competition. But yeah, up next, it is Brighton versus Manchester United, two sides who won't be playing in Europe this season, despite both of them being in Europe last season. Manchester United have been fairly awful this year. Brighton haven't been a whole lot better, but you can make excuses for both with injuries. And, I'd argue that Brighton have a lot more excuses than Man United. But Brighton, they weren't great against Chelsea in the week, but they weren't awful. United actually played well in the week. So does that tell us anything, Harry? Or what's your prediction here?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously both sides have kind of fallen away as we've got towards the end of this campaign.
We've both been rocky all season,
yeah,
to be fair.
Both finally slipping out of Europe when it matters, and I think that is going to be drilled home with a 1-1 draw, and neither side, they'll end up looking a good 4 or 5 points off Europe in the end, and I think it'll be United open scoring through, bloody hell, Mainu is going to get another one, because he's the only good player for Man United. And then for Brighton, it'll be a goal coming from Simon Adingra. Bit of a dull game. No one cares about it because it means absolutely nothing. And point each.
Yeah, fair enough. I think United... Now, I can't comment on the Newcastle game because I didn't watch it, but every other time I've watched Man United this season, I think they're one of the worst teams in the Premier League. I think the underlying numbers predict them to be somewhere near a 16th, which is a damning response or a damning indication of where their actual quality lies. I think this Brighton team have been quite unfortunate this season because without those injuries, maybe they would be where United are. So I think Brighton will win this game. I'll say 3-1 Brighton. I think, again, United, they leak goals at the moment, and in most cases, they aren't very good going forwards either. So I think Brighton have the advantage here. I will say, is Danny Welbeck fit? I know he's just signed a new 2-year contract with Brighton, which I found amusing to see him.
So.
João Pedro is definitely fit, so I will predict him to score. I will then say, this is the problem for Brighton. Everyone's been injured this year. I'll say Pascal Gross because he's ever reliable and there's no way he's injured. And then I will also say Adam Webster in the hope that he's fit as well. And then for United, I will go Alejandro Garnacho. He's been a bit quiet recently, and we saw Amad Diallo actually played really well against Newcastle. So maybe we won't see Garnacho start, but I predict that he will get the nod in this one. Up next, it's Burnley versus Nottingham Forest. Now, unless Luton Town wins 6-0 and Burnley wins 6-0 here, Nottingham Forest are likely to be safe. But there's still that off chance, isn't there? And Nottingham Forest won't want to survive on goal difference. They want to get a 3 points here and show that they shouldn't have ever been in the conversation for relegation. They weren't ever a serious doubt. But there's still a small chance. Burnley, could they help Luton out here? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think Burnley are going to take it. I really do. They've been in a better run of form. And, I mean, Forest, they're really good at home. They gave Chelsea a run for their money, but I don't think they'll do that here to Burnley. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to the Claret and Blue. It will be a goal from Zeki Amdouni. And, I mean, it won't mean anything that Forest lose, but they're going to lose. And Burnley, I mean, they'll be happy to end the season on a high.
Yeah, I'm going to go Burnley 6, Nottingham Forest 0. No, I'll say 2-0 Burnley. I don't think Forest have been very good all season. I think they're probably my favourites to go down next season, bar Leicester, because they start on -10. Even then, I think Leicester will probably finish above them. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Forest have been very good this year. I do think they've ridden their luck at times, and the fact is that in any other Premier League season in recent history, they would have been relegated. Yeah. But, they are helped up massively by the fact that Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton haven't been the quality that we've seen from other sides, especially Sheffield United and Burnley as well. They've fallen massively short of expectations. I know Forest had that points deduction, but ultimately, they did break the rules. They overspent, and it's still not giving them any advantage. So I do think they're a real danger to go down next season. Yeah. I don't think they're going to play very well here. They're going to be a 2-0 win for Burnley, and I think that will depict the misery at Forest this season. I'll say 2 goals, as you said Zeki Amdouni there. That's really the favour, isn't it? But I'll say David Datro on loan from Chelsea, and I will go for Josh Brownhill as well. A 2-0 win for Burnley. Up next, and speaking of Chelsea, they host Bournemouth at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, with 3 points, could rise to 5th. Could end up 5th or 7th, depending on how this game goes. So Chelsea very much in a good spot now. Europe looks likely, which is a really good achievement considering where they were last season, considering where they were earlier in this season. Bournemouth, they've been phenomenal though, and they will provide a real threat here. Can Chelsea, given their form in recent weeks, take momentum into this game and win it, or will Bournemouth provide an upset? Yeah,
I mean, a few weeks ago, I'd probably said Bournemouth are going to win this, but Chelsea, 4 wins on the bounce. They've looked really, really strong. Haven't lost a game in quite a while, and I don't see them letting up here, but I think it'll be a close one. I'll go another 2-1 win for the Blues. It will be Chelsea will take the lead through Cole Palmer. Dom Solanke will then equalise for Bournemouth, but then it'll be a winner from Trevor Chalobah's head that will end the season on a high for Chelsea. 5 wins in a row, finishing in Europe, and not a bad recovery from Poch's men.
Yeah, fair enough. I think you consider in the week, I think 2-1 was quite kind to Brighton. Obviously, Reece James' red card had a huge impact on that result, and I think Chelsea would have kept a clean sheet, maybe even scored another if they hadn't dropped down to 10 players. I don't think they'll have any issues here. Chelsea played really, really well recently. I've been very impressed with what I've seen. So I'll say Chelsea 4, Bournemouth 1. I still think there's a goal in there. Chelsea are having a little bit leaky at times this season, and that hasn't let up really in the season. I think 60 goals conceded this campaign, which is very worrying. But the fact that we have scored so many more than we did last season, almost doubled our tally from last season, is really positive stuff. I'll say a 4-1 for Chelsea, really putting the pressure on Tottenham. And, let's see, can Sheffield United beat them? But yeah, I'll say goals from a brace from Cole Palmer. I mean, unless he gets 6, he's not winning the Golden Boot now, but still in a very, very impressive turn. I'll say, 2 from Cole Palmer, 1 from Nicholas Jackson, because he's been in sensational form of late. And then I will say, I don't think he'll get the nod, because Mudryk won't be involved. You know what, Tyreek George may not start, but coming off the bench, hopefully, still not been given a chance by Poch, but coming off the bench, hope he gets involved with a goal. As for Bournemouth 1, I'll say Dom Solanke. He's been really good this year, Dom Solanke. I think he's 4th top scorer in the Premier League, or was up there for a long period. He's been very good this year, and a massive reason why Bournemouth find themselves in a really strong position. But up next it is Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. 2 sides who are in great spirits at the moment. Aston Villa have just confirmed their place in the Champions League, which feels unreal or surreal given that they were literally on the verge of relegation 4 years ago. Now they find themselves playing Champions League football. What an incredible turnaround. As for Palace, well, their turnarounds happened all within this season. Under Roy Hodgson, they played stale, boring football and were slowly sliding to relegation, but now they have completely revitalised that with Oliver Glasner. Go check out our video from in the week about that if you haven't already. But they've completely changed the way they play. They've been phenomenal. And could they get a result here against a really strong Aston Villa team?
I mean, as you say, both sides are playing some really good stuff at the moment. Are very, very happy with their achievements. Can't split them for me. I'll go for a 2-2 draw. Very, very good game. Going to be very, very exciting. I will go Palace to take the lead through Mateta. Villa to equalise through Watkins. Palace will then retake the lead through Eze, and then it'll be a late equaliser courtesy of John Duran because he got 2 against Liverpool. He's going to come off the bench and score again here.
I like when John Duran scores a brace because then you can say Duran. But I think this will be a good game. I think hopefully a good game because a lot of the other ones are so much on the line or there's nothing and nobody cares. But these 2 teams, they're in good spirits. They're playing well. Palace will want to end their season on the high. Villa will want to end their season on the high. I think it was going to result in a really good game. I'm going to go for a bit of a final day bonanza of Crystal Palace 4, Aston Villa 4. Wow. Why not? I want to back a mental game. Despite the fact Villa have been incredibly defensively solid, as have Palace actually in recent weeks. That goes out the window tonight because it's Premier League final day. Anything can happen. Crystal Palace 4, Aston Villa 4. I'll say Mateta 2, Eze and Daniel Munoz. And then for Aston Villa, I will go Watkins, DRV. I will say Douglas Luiz from the spot, and then he can mug off Rio Ferdinand again. I really enjoyed their exchanges on Twitter. Good. And then I'll say, is Moreno fit?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll back him as well. From left back, 4-4. What an incredible game of football that should be. Up next, and a side who were in the title race against a side who definitely aren't, but have had a really good season. It's Liverpool versus Wolves. Liverpool were in the title race for a while, definitely aren't now. They've had a difficult past few months, and Klopp's farewell tour, leaving with only a Carabao Cup, is a little underwhelming. As for Wolves, well, they've been very good this season. Their manager Gary O'Neill's, earned a lot of plaudits for the job he's done there, and is now being linked with the England job if Southgate is to leave when his contract expires in December. So clearly, he's doing something right. And Wolves have done very well. At the start of the season, they were tipped for relegation. Now they find themselves, I think, 12th in the league. So really impressive stuff from them. And I think O'Neill deserves a lot of credit. Liverpool give it a really tough game though. How do you see it panning out?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so easy to say Liverpool will win, but I tell you what, I can't. Honestly, this game, nothing on the line for either side. Doesn't mean anything. 0-0. Nothing's going to happen. There has to be one dull game. on the final day, because it will then make up for the games that are really, really good. So for this will be the game that nobody watches, that means absolutely nothing, and they might as well just not bother playing it.
Yeah, fair enough. I will say 2-0 Liverpool. I still think they'll have the measure of Wolves on this final day. I think it'll be goals from Cody Gakpo, and I'll say, is it McConnell, the youngster? I think Klopp will rotate a little here. But obviously he'll want to play all his big stars in his final day as well, but he'll want to rotate many aspects. So I think we'll see McConnell come off the bench and get a goal. 2-0 win for Liverpool.
Like it.
Up next, and it's Luton Town's likely last game in the Premier League. And hopefully they'll be back again, but they have been very good this season. They've been incredible. Lots of people tipped them to be bottom. I think Garth Crooks from the BBC said that they were going to finish bottom and have a lower points tally than Derby.
So much shite.
Exactly. Luton Town, they defied all odds this season. A side operating on a tiny, minuscule amount of the budget of some of the bigger clubs in the league. Yet they've taken that fight and belief to every other team in the Premier League. They've done very well this season, Luton. And if they do win here and Burnley beat Forest, they'll have only been relegated on goal difference, which I think is an incredible achievement for Luton Town. Do you think they will win on the final day? Do you think they'll go out with a bang?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've said Burnley will beat Forest as well, so it is going to come down to goal difference. I'll go for 8. Luton are at home. They're going to get everything. They're going to do what they can. It will only be a 2-1 win, but it'll be a big win and a nice send-off to the Premier League. It'd be great to see them back next season, or the year after next. And I mean, I think they'll make a good go of the Championship next year, but I think they'll end on a high here. Kenilworth Road will be pretty happy with a 2-1 win. They'll go behind through a Bobby Deckled over Reed goal, but then the second half it'll be 2 headers, one off of Reece Burke's noggin and the other one from Elijah Adebayo's.
Yeah, fair enough. I will say 4-0 Luton Town. I think Fulham have done very well this season, and credit to them, but I don't think their defence has ever been particularly good. They've relied heavily on Bernd Leno to bail them out. Luton are incredible, mate. They're going to score 4 goals. It'll be an Adebayo brace, and I think will further prove that if he'd stayed fit, maybe Luton would have had an even greater chance of staying up. Well, would have likely had an even greater chance of staying up. I will then say, I was going to say Ross Barkley, but I think he's picked up a knock, hasn't he? So I'll go Tahith Chong, and I will say Luke Berry, because I really like Luke Berry scoring in the Premier League. It fills my heart with joy. Up next, and the game that will decide the Premier League title, Manchester City versus West Ham. I don't think I need much of a precursor to this one. City, top of the league by 2 points. If they do drop points, it opens the door to Arsenal winning the Premier League for the first time in 20 years. Harry, will City do that? Or will City confirm their 4th Premier League title in a row, the first club to ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that Arsenal got absolutely tanked Everton first up at the top of the show, which only tells you one thing, that this City game is going to be close as ever, but I am going to go Manchester City 2, West Ham 1, and I think City will take the league title, but it won't be without drama. I think City will take the lead at the point that Arsenal are already 1-0 up, so our City will score Erling Haaland from the penalty spot. Arsenal then grab their second, while West Ham equalise. And
we're in the studio, they're going,
exactly. West Ham will equalise through Jared Bowen. It will get to half-time. We'll be sat there at half-time with Arsenal winning 2-0, City drawing 1-1, and as it will stand, it will be Arsenal 45 minutes away from winning the Premier League. But it will be Rodri in the 79th minute, will pick it up about 25 yards out, smash it top corner, and win City the Premier League for the 5th year running.
I really thought that was going to be a Man City are still alive here.
No.
De Bruyne, Rodri, and then 95th minute and they win it. I think that's really boring. I'm not in the prediction game to make boring predictions. This might be our last ever Premier League prediction show. We don't know what we're doing next season yet. We've got a couple of ideas. I'm going out with a bang. Man City 1, West Ham 1, Arsenal Premier League champions, I believe, on goal difference.
Can't stand it.
There we go.
I can't predict that.
Well, that's what I'm doing. Arsenal, you're Premier League champions. Enjoy. Enjoy. But yes, up next, final game of the final day. It's Sheffield United versus Tottenham. If Sheffield United win and Chelsea win, Chelsea will climb above Tottenham. Which, given that at one point this season there was 18 points between the two sides, what an achievement that would be for Chelsea. What a fall off for Tottenham. Harry, do you see Sheffield United winning?
These are two sides that probably cannot wait for the season to be over. Tottenham have fallen apart. Pochettino, Postecoglou's noticing cracks. He wants to leave the job already, like every other Tottenham manager has. They've got to this point in the season and gone, why am I here? Sheffield United, they hate the Premier League. They can't wait to get away from it and get back to the Championship. So do you know what that means? Neither side wants to be here. There's only one bloke that's going to turn up, and his name's McBurney. 1-0 Sheffield United. Ollie McBurney's going to the cross is going to come in. Vicario's going to punch it into the back of Romero, and McBurney's going to toe poke it home from 3 yards out. Sheffield United will win the game. Tottenham fall out of the top 5, and it'll be one of the world's worst games on the final day.
I'm predicting a much better game of football. Sheffield United 3, Tottenham 0. They're going out, one last hurrah. Tottenham fans stood there, can't believe it. Yeah, they're going for it in this one. There's nothing to lose. So I don't know enough Sheffield United players for this, but I will say.
Do they even have 3 goals?
I will say that the game will be opened up by a Ben Brereton Diaz screamer. I think 2 minutes in, it's going to drop to on the edge of the box. I don't know how it's got there. Magic. He just volleys it top corner and everyone goes mental because it's the best goal Sheffield United have seen it's the only goal Sheffield United have seen all season. Then it will be a Ollie McBurney goal from a corner. I think it will bounce around. You predict he'll poke it in. I think it will come off his knee. I think it'll bounce up. I think he'll just try and do something. He just shimmies it in off his knee.
McBurney trademark.
And yeah, Vicario, it catches Vicario out because it looks like he's going to volley it to the left. It comes off his knee, goes right. Yeah. So it goes past Vicario, just catches everyone out. And then everyone's doing the McBurney for the rest of the season. And then for the next season, they're all getting ready, practicing their McBurney strikes. And then I think Sheffield United will get a cherry on top of the cake with an Arnel Ahmedhodzic goal, header from a corner this time. And once again, Vicario just will be fuming because no mark in the box. Sheffield United going to dominate Tottenham here. And a 3-0 win for the Blades. But that is everything. Our final Premier League prediction show of the 23-24 season. Thank you, everyone that's watched our Premier League predictions and predicted along with us in the comments below. There's too many names for me to possibly read out, and I haven't written them down, so I'd probably miss someone and then they feel sad. But thank you if you have got involved. Thank you if you have watched our content throughout this season. As I say, I think this might be the last time we ever do this, because next season we've got some big plans, some ideas that we might implement, so look out for those. But yeah, thank you so much for your support on this series. And Premier League is over.
Over and out.
23-24 season. Join us on Sunday for the Premier League final day. We'll be live half an hour before kickoff, so 3:30 for the 4 o'clock kickoff. So make sure to be there. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be sat here breaking down all the content. As Chelsea fans, of course, we'll be cheering for Chelsea as well in the hope they can get that 5th spot. But we'll also have all of our focus on the title race because that is what people care about, really. Who wins the Premier League? And, well, if Luton somehow pulled off a miracle and stayed in the Premier League, I will be doing backflips. So join us there if you want to see me attempt a backflip. I can't even say it. Probably break my neck. But great fun. But that is everything from us today. Make sure to watch the video on screen now. We spoke about Crystal Palace this week and how they've managed to completely turn around their fortunes under Oliver Glasner. But that's everything from us today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.